Hello, there's a timestamp above if you want to go to that and skip to the pattern, but I did want to take time to tell you guys my name is Petrabaye Zimmerman, and if you Google Petrabaye, you'll be able to find a lot of what I do. I do lots of art, crochet and painting in particular, but I also love to sew and really anything that is art. And I love other people's art, and I love music, and I love supporting others. This thing in particular is something I started out doing 3 years ago. I did it in order to bring attention to abused children and maybe broken families. And it's kind of snowballed into helping homeless, children who need presents during the holiday season, and also parents who need help getting their children outerwear and themselves. Just so you know, this is a full head-to-toe Grinch outfit, so I will eventually have the entire pattern together for you guys, but I'm going to do it in pieces. And the pants do come down a little bit, you'll see in this video, but that's because the suspenders snapped whenever I put the outfit on. I've got some good ones now, and it stays up just fine. So, in case you were worried with that, yes, like I said, I'll have it available in pieces. It'll be on my Etsy and also my website. My website, it will be cheaper at Petrabaye. Google that and you'll be able to find the pattern, the mean one, gloves and everything. Make sure you buy the right size because there are 2 different sizes, small, medium, and extra large large to extra large. And when doing so, when you do buy that, that does help go towards things like the makeup, underneath things that I have to wear to keep it all together. I bought a donation box that's metal. I have to buy multiple business cards, lights, and a generator to keep like decorations going. So all that stuff costs money, and I do hate to cut right into the donations and take from it, but that's what I have to do. So that'll just keep giving back more to the community. Ahead are some other goofy things while I give you some more information. These are all me doing different characters or putting on nice, fun outfits that I've made in the past. I would love to do more videos, so do make sure to like, comment, subscribe, send love, send advice. I'd love to hear it all, really, really, really. Ahead is also a beaded dress I made. There's over 20,000 beads on it. It took over 100 hours, easy to make. Each one are hand put on after I had fully crocheted the dress itself. It is so beautiful. I love it so much. I have nothing to do with it. So if anybody knows an actress or somebody awesome that needs to borrow it, just go on and let me know. And I've made others that I'll show, but this one, oh, by far is one of my favorites. It's beautiful glass beads. So much fun to do. And they're pretty expensive to make. So again, selling patterns will help me be able to create more because they're pricey. And I mean, I'm an artist, so I don't make too much money, but it'd be nice to eventually get back so I could just make more. This next one is actually one that's like a work in progress. I have a lot more of it done than I even am showing here. So make sure to check out all the social medias to find it when it's finished. It is down to the floor with this gorgeous slit in it. I love it so much. And this one is the flower ballroom gown skirt, I guess I'd say. There you go. There's all the information for it. It took 40 hours alone just to bind each one of these on. Again, if you could think of anyone wants to wear it, from Florence Welch to Zendaya, girl, I would love for any of you guys and all in between cool chicks to wear one of my skirts eventually. And if anybody knows them, hey, point them out to me, point them out. Show them me, please. Because like I said, they do get expensive to make, and it'd be nice to be able to sell one or get a commission off of one of these things, because the more money I get, the more I'll be able to create, and eventually the more I just love to give back in general. It isn't just around the holidays. It's in general. I like to collab and help others. So please make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we're getting to the video very, very soon. Thank you for sticking around this long if you did. For longer videos, patterns, everything, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or just Google Petrabaye. Thank you so much. Alright, so I am going to get my yarn out. Sorry, I started the video, and lo and behold, I was not prepared. That should set you up for this entire video. And if you do not agree with how silly or goofy I've acted just yet, you may just want to go ahead and grab the pattern instead of listening to me. How we're going to start is we are going to get our yarn onto our hook, and we are going to chain 22. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I also wanted to start out by saying you'll be doing chain stitch, slip stitch, double crochet, increase double crochet, and decrease. So if you don't know how to do those, you might want to practice beforehand. And if you get this yarn and you've never used it before, I definitely practice beforehand because it can get really tough, be really tough to use. But that being said, it's kind of a good thing because if you make a mistake, you can kind of fix it without having to pull everything out or what have you. Or if you have to add yarn, you can't really tell when you add more on. So it's a bittersweet yarn and it really looks cool. So now we are going to slip stitch into this first chain. Whoop. And if I hadn't said it before already, the pattern is available on Etsy. I mean on my website and maybe on Etsy. I'm not very sure yet, but definitely at petrabayeart.com. Next we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we are going to crochet into each stitch around. And just to keep this video from being too long, because the extra large glove was the first one I did, I think it's definitely over an hour, but it's a long video. So to keep it from being that long, I am gonna try and shorten this one, hopefully to about an hour or less. So to shorten it, I'm gonna have to cut off a lot. So if you do want to just get that pattern, that would be awesome. And then this could work as a guide to help you if you get into rough patches. But I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna meet you back at the end. And if you want, go ahead and count each one of your stitches. The chain 2 is always going to count as a stitch from now on, so just know that in your head so I don't have to keep repeating it. But we want 22 around. See you then. Alright, I've just come up on my last stitch here. I'm also going to probably say this just once just to make sure you guys know. Instead of slip stitching into this top chain 2 space like I normally do with yarn, I'm actually going to go beside and slip stitch into here. I did that with my first sets of gloves and it worked nice, but with this pattern, this type of yarn, it really makes it just easier and go by faster if you just use that space. Then we're going to chain 2, and if you want, you really have to scoot your yarn out of the way so you can get to that first double crochet, like so, just like that. So the next row, this is 1, the next 2, 3, and 4, the next 3 in a row are just going to be the same way, going around each one with 1 double crochet into each stitch around. So I'm going to do what I said before. I'm going to stop the video, catch up with you, and then go from there. Alright, I'm going to be coming up on the end here soon. Just wanted to give you a heads up. The next thing we're going to be doing is increase double crocheting, and that is just double crocheting twice into one space. This is going to make, we're now kind of working on the wrist part of the glove. This is going to make it bigger so that your palm fits in it, but your wrist stays a little tighter. So when we're increasing, we're just making it a little bigger so that the wrist is a little more snug and defined. And yeah, so I'm getting near the end here. What you're going to do is do that slip stitch again and chain 2. One sec, I'm not there with you, but I'm almost. Here we go, slip stitch and chain 2. 1, 2, pull some more yarn to myself. Then we're gonna increase right here. We're gonna put 2 double crochets into the same exact space. And then in the next 2 spaces, we're gonna do a double crochet by itself, and then a double crochet by itself. And then the next one, we're gonna do 2 double crochets into the next. And then we're gonna do 1 double crochet by itself, 1 double crochet by itself. And if you guess there's a pattern, you're right. 2 double crochet into the next. Like I said, I'm gonna cut this again to make sure you guys are not having to watch a super long video, so make sure you pause accordingly. I'm stopping mine and meeting you at the end. Okay, so when you get all the way around, it should have ended with a double crochet by itself and a double crochet by itself. When we get there, we are going to slip stitch in this top space and then chain 2. Once we do that, I'm also going to recount my stitches to make sure. We had 22 before, and now since we've increased, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 29. Let me get that snug down there. So we have 29. Sorry. Whoop. And the next rows are going to be, let's see, we are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the next 4 rows are going to be just doing a double crochet all the way around, 1 in each. So what did I say? 29, counting that chain 2 is one of those, is going to go all the way around. And I'm going to meet you back here at round 9, or the end of round 9. So make sure you do 4 rows just like that. Alright, I've just finished my 4th row, which is the 9th one of the whole thing. I do want to make sure you guys know it is very important to keep counting your stitches as you go, because with this yarn it's kind of easy to skip over or add some into the same place, which would increase or decrease the size. So at the end and in the pattern, I actually have how many you're supposed to have after each row count too. So thought that'd be super helpful in a what can be kind of complicated pattern such as this one. So next thing we're going to do is slip stitch at the top of this, and we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we are going to, we're going to do our chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet twice into this very first space. So this is our increase. We're doing that again, and it'll be the same pattern again where we're double crocheting twice, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then 2 into the same exact place, and then 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then 2 in the exact same spot. And that is going to be your row 10. Once you get there, we get to work on our thumb. So I think we could squeeze the wrist, palm, and thumb into the first video, and then I may cut it to download it, add it to YouTube, and then get this part 2 going. So meet me around here. You're doing the same exact thing. If you end up with just 1 extra, well, you know what? Just get to the end, and then I'll meet you. Yeah. Okay. Now, yes. Whenever I got to the end, I had 1 more stitch left over, but I'd already done 2 double crochet together, double crochet, double crochet. So then I put 2 double crochet together into the last one, and I ended up counting, and I had 39 around. So make sure you count and get the same. Then yes, we're going to slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 4 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. After we have chain 4, we're going to go over 7. So make sure you kind of move your chains out of your way so you're ensuring you're getting to your stitches properly. We're going to count over 7 stitches, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm gonna go from the inside, bring my hook out from the top of that 7th double crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch right there. And what this has done is this has just created a little thumb hole. And you could check and see if maybe you need to add another stitch or not. I think that's plenty for me. This pattern's really, like I said, forgiving in many ways, and because of the way the fingers are supposed to look anyways, it's nice to make it a little bigger than your hand. I can't see too many people's hands being much smaller than mine, so that's why I gave it that extra space also, is because I was making it small to medium, and I'm more so of a small, so it should fit pretty good on the medium. We're gonna do next, we're gonna chain 2, 1, 2. We're gonna turn our work to where we can work in these 4 chain stitches that we made. I am going to double crochet into each one of these 4. And this part's probably the trickiest, is trying to get crochet into these chains, because they're probably the hardest to see out of all the other stitches. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's counting that chain 2 space. And we're gonna kind of turn our work here so we can see what we're doing. And I'm gonna double crochet into the next stitch and into each one around. Oops. All right, and now I'm gonna count 1, 2. I've counted 11. I've slip stitched over and chained 2. What we're gonna be doing now is just putting a double crochet into each stitch around, making sure at the end of each of those we have 11 down. And we're gonna be, that's gonna be our rows 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So 4 rows is what we're gonna do right now. 4 rows of just double crochets by themselves around. And I will meet you back when I get there. Alright, I just got done with that round 4 that I just did, and counting that first one we did, we're on row 5. Going to slip stitch in the top of this space, chain 2. Here's where the pattern gets a little different again. We're going to be doing, some people call it double crochet together. I call it decreased double crochet. If you don't know what a DC2TOG, that is the lingo for it. If you don't know what the abbreviation is or what that means, you may want to look up a video. But it is decreasing double crochet by, or decreasing going into 2. So what I'm doing is I'm acting as I'm doing a double crochet into this very next stitch, but halfway through I'm yarning over and going into the next stitch, pulling out 2, and then pulling out 3. What that does is that turns 2 double crochets into 1. So that'll have 1 space at the top for our next round when we get there. So we're going to decrease all the way around, and I'll tell you in a sec how many we'll be decreasing with. Turn it. Another one. All right. And then we do 1 more to meet the end. Awesome. Let me just, I'm going to count these before I slip stitch so I can tell where I'm starting and ending. Here's 1, there's 2 together, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to count that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So counting that chain 2 space, we will have 6. We're slip stitching that. One moment. Alright, once we do that slip stitch, we're going to chain 2. We're going to double crochet into each of those 6 that we made. Counting, of course, the chain 2 is one of those 6 all the way around. Flop this for you. And one more. It's going to get really hard to tell what you're doing come here, but again, it's very hard to tell flaws in this kind of yarn. We're going to slip stitch right here, chain 2, and then we are going to go once more into each one around, just like we did before. And that, just so you know, is our row 7 and 8 of the thumb. There's the last space. Awesome, giving it a little look-see. Gonna slip stitch into the top of this space. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try and skip about 2 of these double crochets, and I'm gonna slip stitch just through the middle of this glove. Just through the middle, probably, yeah, I'm skipping one and going into another one on the other end. And I'm just gonna slip stitch through, cut my yarn short. If you watched the other video, yes, I still not found my scissors. So I'm gonna use this hole plunger as my scissors right this second. And then I'm gonna pull that yarn through the hole I just made to secure it, and then give it a couple knot ties at the very end, making a loop, swoop, and a pull. And then this yarn, you can kind of cut it pretty close, but you don't want to get too close where it unravels, but you can usually cut pretty close to the end, and you won't even be able to tell it's there. And look at this cold thumb. Oh yeah, I'm getting the vibes, y'all. This is awesome. And then I'm gonna meet you back here on part 2 to do this finger, and then there'll probably be a part 3 for these. Enjoy. I'll see you at part 2.